Hello everyone and welcome to Politics Today on Channels Television. I beg your pardon. I'm Sheon walking by lawyer. What a week it has been as we see a series of legal battles and different judgments delivered on political contests in Nigeria. Some legislative legal tussles were concluded at the appeal court, while some governorship election contests will go to the Supreme Court. Akwa Ibom and Rivers State are in the news as appeal court have delivered judgments on the governorship elections held earlier in the year. And those two states will get us talking on the program tonight. Welcome. Well, some other very interesting political stories. But before we get started, let's take a short break and we'll be back. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of these interesting political stories in the week. Let's start in Ekiti State, where local government elections held for the first time in about 7 years. The APC, we understand, boycotted the exercise. Not so much voter turnout was seen in that exercise. Well, let's move to other stories now. And the PDP is not having it too good at this time as the court sacked the party's acting Chairman, Chief Uche Secondus. Former President Jonathan's political advisor, Mr. Ahmed Gulak, was the beneficiary of the victory against his party, seeking that he should have been the chairman after the former chairman of the party, Alhaji Adamu Muazu, stepped down. He sought the court to remove Chief Secondus because he claims he's from the northeast. And our INEC has fixed the 9th of January 2016 for the conduct of the cancelled poll in southern Ijaw local government area of Bayelsa State. You remember what happened earlier this month when the election there was cancelled. Well, the reason why the governorship election in the state is inconclusive. So the election will hold next year, January. Well, let's move down southwest, where the Lagos PDP has given Mr. James Falike, the late Prince Audu's deputy governorship candidate in the Kogi governorship election, 7 days ultimatum to declare where his voting unit is. The PDP says they will contest Mr. Falike's seat in Lagos as a member of the House of Representatives if they cannot hear from him within these 7 days. So they threaten to contest that seat if he fails to declare where his voting unit is. Well, let's get into the main stories of the day. First, in Rivers State, where the appeal court has ruled in favor of the All Progressives Congress APC and his candidate, Mr. Dakuko Peterside. While Mr. Nyesom Wike, the incumbent governor, and his party says they will seek redress at the Supreme Court. This is what the candidate of the PDP, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Wike, said after the judgment.
You will know that the will for somebody they will bring. They can bring anybody. But I wish the person coming that he must come and conduct a proper election for National Assembly. As far as this state is concerned, and I'm trying to tell people to know it clear that we are not afraid of any rerun election at all.
That's the governor of Rivers State and the PDP candidate in the Rivers State governorship election. He has said the party is not afraid of any reconduct or rerun election in Rivers State if that is a decision of the Supreme Court at the end of the day. But his party and himself has said they will go to the Supreme Court to seek redress. But what about the APC candidate, Mr. Dakuko Peterside? I caught up with him. And this is what he feels about the judgment of the appeal court, which of course is in his favor.
A critical juncture of the matter of governorship of Rivers State. And the other options open to Nyesom Wike are, one, to approach the Supreme Court to overturn the concurrent decision of the tribunal and the Court of Appeal. And the second option is to present himself for election. And this is a man who had hitherto boasted that if elections are done 100 times, he will win 100 times. So I think the attractive option for him would have been for him to go for the second option, to present himself for election so that Rivers people would decide who is their governor. But on the whole, I think that something remarkable has happened. It is for the good of democracy, it's for the good of the people of Rivers State and the people of Nigeria. And ultimately, as I have always said, the will of God and the will of Rivers people will prevail, not any other consideration.
Well, that's the APC candidate in Rivers State. Well, he's talking about the will of the people. Mr. Wike seems to be very confident because what he said is on the ground. Well, we know that region, the Niger Delta region, it's been a hotbed in terms of militancy in the past, and the rest, of course, issues relating to economic and all of that has been a big concern because of militant activities in that region. Of course, about 5 years ago, most of the militants dropped their weapons for amnesty. But recently, the region has become a high-risk area for electoral purposes, something like such a thing that we saw in Rivers State election with the violence there, and of course recently in Bayelsa State. The Rivers State governorship election has come with its own controversies over the issue of violence. Well, let's take a quick look at some of these issues. I'll show you some of this information right quickly. In April 2015, the governor of the state, then Rotimi Amechi, constituted a pro-panel commission of inquiry to look into the issue of violence in the governorship election held earlier this year. The panel, that commission, was chaired by Professor Chidi Odinkalu. Well, afterward, the inquiry opened on the 4th of May, just about a month after it was constituted. It took 7 days of public hearings and 18 hours of different testimonies from different people who came forward for through that inquiry, the Commission of Inquiry. What other information do we have? But during that commission, well, there are 43 memoranda that were presented there. Also, we had a lot of petitions that were also taken and represented from 11 of 23 local government areas in Rivers State altogether. Well, those are some of the information there. What about the issues of the violence that happened in that state? There's been a lot of back and forth between the two major parties in the state, talking about the PDP and the APC. Of course, we caught up with the chairman of the PDP in Rivers State, Chief Felix Obua. And the first question we asked him was, what was the root cause of the violence in Rivers State governorship election? And this is what he said.